Are listening to All Burgundy and Gold Everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM Hopewell, Virginia. It's the Washington Commanders postgame show. The Washington Commanders tie the New York Giants 20. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Ray, Jeezy, and Glenn. The homie Mo is out. Hey, fellas, what's good, man? Exciting game, right?
Exciting game. I don't like the NFL.
Huh? You don't like what you say, Glenn?
I don't like the NFL.
Why? Because of ties?
Because of ties. I've never been a fan of ties. Think about it. You don't tie in high school. You don't tie in college.
True.
Why would you tie in the professional league?
Hey Ray,
you
hate
that you get paid for?
Hey Ray, you hate ties too?
It's going to go away soon, Glenn, because think about the overtime rules, how they've continued to evolve. We're going to see a point in time where you can go to multiple overtime sessions, and it's going to change. So keep complaining, keep letting your voice be heard on this platform. It's going to be all good. But you got to be happy, Glenn, because that could have been an L, considering you were down in that fourth quarter.
L, bro. That's how
I'll take it. I'll take a tie over an L any day, Glenn.
I'm going to get to the point. I do take the tie over the L any day. But at the same time, I'm not just talking about the Washington Commanders, right? I just like the tie. I don't like the tie in general.
I'm not a Commanders fan.
Right, but even if I wasn't a Commanders fan, I just don't like ties in sports. That's why I don't watch soccer.
That's the world's game, man. It's called football.
It works for hockey, so it can work for the league. It worked for you today, Glenn.
It worked today, but I just think when you play a sport and you put your body on the line, whether it's 90 minutes in soccer, whether it's I think hockey plays about an hour, 3 periods in hockey, whatever case may be, there should be always a winner at the end of a contest.
Okay, hold up, Glenn. Think about this. At the end of that game, they're not going for that long field goal if they know they could just go to another session. Period. It's that simple. So the game plan changes. So it could have been an L. You better take this T.
No, I'm not even talking about the game in general. I don't care if it was the St. Louis Rams last year and the Kansas City Chiefs.
He's calling the St. Louis Rams.
I mean, my bad. The Los Angeles Rams. I'm old school. The Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, but I don't care. It just in ties and sports. I don't like draws in boxing. I think when you
I hate it too. I think
you should go back y'all should go back and fight another round. I just don't like when you.
I feel you can't put it any other way. I get it. I really do. Yeah. But at the same time, division game, the NFC East again is back, which I love, and it was a good, hard-fought battle on the road. You know what I've been saying all season. I'm gonna be consistent. Continue to compete, and this team is competing every week. The defense stepped up. Deron Payne, Wole, we talked about him before we came on air. You got to franchise that dude, or you got to re-sign him because you can't let him go. He's too valuable. Jonathan Allen, he's a man. He's the anchor on that defense. Even with Sweat out, you continue to be productive. You got to give Jack Del Rio his flowers at this point.
I agree.
We might be mad at Scott Turner. Scott Turner continues to warrant just criticism because he's so indecisive. He doesn't know what he wants to do. There's still no clear identity, even though you're running the football well. But Jack Del Rio, got to love what his defense is doing.
Yeah, but let's get into our particulars. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also, tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit that button. Also, like this video. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with you, Glenn. I mean, obviously, I can tell you hate the tie, but in terms of your overall thoughts on the game, my man, Glenn, I mean, what was your feeling, man? Or like, were you proud of the play of this team? Or were you more in the middle?
I'm in the middle. I think this team started off fast, slowed down, and do what they've done for the last 6 or 7 weeks. The last drive of the game, the last 10, 15 minutes, the last 6 or 7 minutes, play lights out. Taylor Heineke, I guess he engulfed the power of Brett Favre in the last minute of the game, right? Call it the powers of Brett Favre, and he does what he did. Even with rolling out and hitting Samuels late, right? Yeah. I don't know how much of that is him or how much of that is the receivers trying to get to the ball. The one that he threw to Terry, that he grabbed out of the defender's hand from the Giants' hands. So again, this team was up and down. Like I told you guys before we got started, my issue has always been the red zone. I've been preaching that for weeks. They have struggled in the red zone, and yet they struggled again in the red zone because, again, you caused a fumble, right? You got the football early. You stole a possession, as you call it in the football world. Stole a possession on the 3-yard line, and you could not score. That's the difference. I'm not even getting to the Joey Slye missed field goal, right?
That's a 52. That's hard, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's a 52. I'm not even going to this field goal.
Yeah.
If you put 7 up there, you up 14-0, right? You up 14-0 is the difference than 10-0. To me, I have to go all the way back to the first quarter when you're on the 3-yard line and you don't capitalize on the turnover. Good NFL teams do that. But again, all in all, I think this team played well. I think defense played well. As you mentioned, Deron Payne, get that man his money. You franchise that man and give him his bucks.
Give him this bag. Give him the bag. Ray, your thoughts,
man? It's amazing how we're having this discussion about this team being competitive on the road in the division. I'm going to keep on emphasizing it because I was kind of flirting with the idea of what if you had Heineke this whole season and Deshaun Watson was just coming back. If you would have made that move. But you know what? We're not going to go there today. It's fun to think about because he's that man's going to get revved up. I know he was slow today. But I know that Heineke can be limited, but when you run the ball effectively, you still give yourself an opportunity and you keep your defense rested. And I like the formula. It's just that Scott Turner's got to be a little bit more consistent. He also needs to know where to utilize play action, and you can't be so what do you call it? You can't be predictable. He can't be so predictable on third down. Everybody knows the formula to at least beat Washington or compete with Washington. That is. Yeah. You have to get them in third and longs. That's the way to do it.
Facts. All facts.
If you get Washington these 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, Heineke with his mobility, also with the inability to get him down, defenses have a hard time sacking him, which is dope. It's easy for Washington to march down the field. The red zone is where the issue is. Offensive coordinator and quarterback is where your problem lies, but you're competitive and you're still in these games late, and they were there today. I feel like in that overtime, after that Curtis Samuel run, you got to be smart with your play calling. So that way you give yourself an opportunity for just a field goal. You know, a field goal wins it. How do you not get yourself in field goal range when you're so close on first down? That's what bothers me about the way the game ended. But overall, I would take a tie over loss any day.
Mo, we got the homie Mo on the show. Mo, your thoughts on the game, my man?
Man, I'm so upset. Darius Slayton always finds a way to give the Commanders or the Washington football team, whatever name you want to call them, a gimme. That is a catch. That game is over. You're not here talking about no tie. If that's a catch. Once again, self-inflicted wounds. We said it was going to be a close game, more late. Yeah. We almost got the score down to what we both, the score actually fell in between what me and you both predicted. I think I was on the higher end. You was on the lower end.
I said 17-16.
Yeah, everything that you said about Heineke, we saw come to fruition today. It's 2 evenly matched teams. Like I said, the Giants don't have problems with teams that are not super explosive, right? And the Commanders or Heineke are not super explosive. They made some plays, right? And as long as we can go back and forth and trade blows, that's the kind of game the Giants want to play in. That's the kind of game they played in all year. When you look at the games that they've lost, is the teams that have had that ability to stretch the field a little bit or make that play and have that drive that's not too long, and they score really quickly. So, like, both of these teams are evenly matched. You see Daniel Jones, there's something about playing the Commanders. There's something about playing this team from Washington about Daniel Jones that makes him look a little better than he typically looks. I want to find out why we got away from running the ball with Saquon. That's what it really boils down to, especially toward the end. They got fancy on that 3rd down, and Ricky James ran into him on an RPO type action when they should have just put the ball in the mesh point between the 2 most important players on that offense with Daniel Jones and Saquon and see if they can pick up that first down. If not, they are clearly in the field goal range and don't have to punt it right there and give you another possession and a scare for Giants fans. But overall, I'm not happy with the tie, but I can see why a lot of people would be, because you just want to see NFC football continue to be fruitful at the end of the year, because we haven't seen it. NFC East football, at least, because we haven't seen it in a long time. And then it comes down to one final game in 2 weeks. You guys are going to get some rest. We got to go play Philly, probably be a loss. Come back, see you guys again, and see how we going to navigate through this playoff push.
Let me ask Mo a question, because
go ahead.
Giants cover.
And Mo, are you hearing Mo's things? Is Mo's mic staticky to you too?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But Mo, 1-on-1 coverage. that's what the Giants were playing today, and I don't think that's a good idea against Terry Heineke. They're daring him to beat them. I get it, but at the same time, in Washington, with that crowd on this side, I think that you probably want to rethink that strategy moving forward. How did you feel about the way the Giants defense defended Washington?
Ray, Wink Martindale is not changing. He don't care if it's me and you, Glenn come off the street. He's gonna rush the passer with extra bodies, and he's gonna put his DBs in the most atrocious situations, if you ask me.
9 in the box. 9 in the box.
Hey, man, 44 is a turnstile. McLeod. 38 came off the street today on that big play to Curtis Samuel towards the end and missed the ball. You can't do that when your defense, if you don't have your starters in. You can't do that. Fabian Moreau himself is an addition that came in midseason. So that's not a game plan that I think is, and I think this is why the Ravens looked really, really bad towards the end of the year last year. Because when their corners went out, when Marlon Humphrey was out and Marcus Peters was out from the beginning of the year with the ACL, you don't have enough bodies back there to play the type of man-to-man defense that he wants to play when he's sending all these people at these quarterbacks. And then the problem with the Giants is we don't, even when he sends those people, we're not getting sacks from it. Pressures are cute, especially with a guy like Taylor Heineke. A pressure just makes him move, and it makes him even more susceptible to getting the completion because now he gets to play backyard football, which bodes well for him. You see what I'm saying? So
agree.
if you're gonna do that, you need to make sure you arrive and you get there, you get the sacks. And I don't think we get there enough. And we do it every single week. And that's why sometimes these games come down to these situations where it's a one possession game and you can't make a living in the NFL. We talked about it, Wola. You can't make a living in the NFL on one possession games forever. Not week to week to week to week. You got to be able to separate yourself from the pack eventually. And I think the Giants don't have enough to do that, especially because they don't have no playmakers on the outside.
Yeah, for me, I mean, my thoughts on this game is that two teams that evenly match. You got to ground. You want to win the time possession game. You want to run the football. You want to impose your will. Daniel Jones, like I said it before. Washington usually has mobile quarterbacks give them issues. I mean, Mariota gave him issues last week. Especially when read option. Daniel Jones has done this consistently. I felt like the defense in the first half were on their heels with Daniel Jones. I think the second half they pretty much kind of knew what they were doing. The second half they were playing their style of football. I believe the Giants only scored 7 points in that second half. So their defense settled down. After that, giving up that touchdown after the turnover by Taylor Heineke. So the defense settled down. In terms of offense, offensively speaking, they had to throw the football down the stretch. I'm gonna give Taylor Heineke flowers. That 4th and 10 play was big. He found Curtis Samuel like he's about to get sacked. So I think that if you're a Washington Commander fan, you gotta show some belief to the dude because that was a big play. We know where I stand with his limitations. There are limitations with Taylor Heineke, but he is a gamer. Like we can say, he is a gamer.
And Wole, those limitations were abundant. Every slant was behind Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but he made the play.
Did not make a play.
Yeah, but I'm gonna keep it Washington Commanders. I'm not gonna keep it Giants. I'm gonna keep Washington Commanders on this one. I'm gonna keep Washington Commanders. But they were behind. But at the same time, like he was making plays though. Like look, Carson wasn't giving Scary the opportunity to make these plays. Taylor Heineke is. Like he's giving him the opportunity. Jahan Dobson made a big play and getting that pass. Like he deserves a lot of that credit of making that move to get that play to make it a touchdown. But at the end of the day, if I'm Ron Rivera, there's things you want to kind of clean out. And Ray mentioned Scott Turner. There's always, you're gonna look at Taylor Heineke's stat total, and it was good, right? Like I think he threw for like 268 or something like that. 27 41. Yeah, 27 for 41. Awesome for him. 27 threw the ball. 27 completions. He threw the ball 41 times. To me, is that a winning formula for Taylor Heineke? I don't think so. But in this game, I think that because the game was 20-13 down the stretch, and the way these two teams played football, you needed him to throw the football. And he did. And he made some big plays. So I'm gonna give him some flowers, man. I thought that he played for his. We're looking at Taylor Heineke. He played well, but also on the defensive side, Deron Payne made plays, man. Especially when you had Montez Sweat go down with a concussion. You knew that it was all on Allen and Payne. Allen made plays too, but Payne showed out for real. Allen showed out too.
Allen may not have made as many plays as
but he made
Payne,
plays though.
But he was disruptive.
He's disruptive.
He was disruptive. Yeah. A couple of those tosses and those pitch plays that they were trying to run, he was getting the guards so deep into the backfield that's making Saquon have to loop around. so much further, so that so that everybody else comes, man. Allen and Payne, man, that interior, man, everything they ever envisioned about it, I think we saw on display today.
No, I agree.
I want to share this, but one thing that you talked about, Mo, you talked about the pass coverage. You look at the game earlier at the beginning of the game, the Giants were doubling Terry. That's why Dotson was able to get open. When you double Dotson, and now you with the safety, so you have to be able to go somewhere else. And late in the game, you saw Terry with one-on-one matchups, and Taylor Heineke was finding them, and that was the thing. The biggest thing with the Washington receivers that was today, that's surprising to me, or not surprising, which was good, was the run after catch. If you look at Scary's touchdown, right? If you look at Scary's touchdown, he broke a tackle. If you look at Dotson's touchdown, he broke a tackle. And those guys are making Heineke look good because they are able to get the break tackles and get the ball out of their hands and get the ball out of their hands
catchability, man. That run after catchability amongst the three of them.
Right. Run after the catch, it has been big for this Washington offense, and that was big today in the last drive. I think one of the keys, too, when you talk about this offense, which we've seen in the last several weeks, has been the running game. We talked about it every week, and I talk about it every week. The running game, Brian Robinson almost got 100 yards again today, 96 yards there rushing.
More.
Antonio Gibson had another 39 yards, right? You even had Curtis Samuel when they went split back zone where the running play was Curtis Samuel. Well, he got another 30-some yards. So they've been able to run the football, again, score possession, hold the ball, time of possession again. And defense is able to put other offenses in situations where they back up. The Giants even the delay of game penalty by the New York Football Giants, right? Towards the end of the game, was mind blowing because you got a timeout. You don't get a delay of game on that play. You can't back yourself up 5 yards and get a delay of game. But again, that goes back to defense because they didn't know Washington football. Jack Del Rio was able to adjust what the Giants did. If you look at that play, the Giants adjusted. They was all bunched in. They bunched out, went back to split back receivers. Washington was able to recognize that and change their formation, which confused the New York Giants offense. And there where they realized you had the two running backs running together. That's high school stuff. Running backs shouldn't run into each other in the NFL, right? It shouldn't happen. But again, it goes back to Jack Del Rio. Again, this team, the defense is ranked number 8. At the beginning of the season, nobody would thought this team would be ranked this defense would be a number 8 defense. And again, I'm not a big fan of his, but you're saying it without Chase Young, right? Which means they can set Chase Young on the corner a little bit more and let him heal up. I think you see Chase Young play after the bye. Depends on Montez Sweat's situation.
Probably. Yeah.
Right.
It was luckily it's a concussion after the bye. He may have some time to kind of get healed up.
Right.
But I agree, and also I want to edit something I think Taylor Heineke had 275 yards, 2 touchdowns.
275. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And a 101 passing rating. George posted on YouTube. Giants played the end of OT right though. They had two timeouts and got another chance and almost kicked a field goal to win. So. Yeah, I thought they played it. They played it right. The Giants didn't play it bad down the stretch. I don't think they did. But go ahead, Ray. What you going to say?
I just want to ask, what did y'all think about third down efficiency on both sides? 3 of 14 for Washington, 4 of 13 for New York.
I said every week they suck. Their third down sucks. Always suck.
That's who I want to ask.
look how direct he was, though. It sucks. It always sucks.
If to win football games, you have to be efficient on third down, whether it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and that goes back to what we said every week about Scott Turner. It's about play calling. 3rd and 1, you don't throw slip screens. On 3rd and 1, you have running backs who are averaging 4.6 yards a carry. You're averaging 4.6 yards a carry. It is 3rd and 1, 2 down territory. Run the freaking football.
I would like to see, for me, I would like to see in this game, though. Again, he was efficient. He was good, and he was not bad. So I'm not going to crap on Taylor Heineke. But in terms of the winning formula for this football team, I would like to see them run a little bit more. I would like them to see run a little bit more Gibson, to be honest with you too. I mean, run Robinson a lot, but run Gibson too. Gibson gets tired. I mean, Robinson gets tired. Throwing Gibson in those situations. You don't have to, if it's 2nd and 5, you don't have to throw the ball. There was a 2nd and 5 situation. Robinson just leaned and got 5 yards easy. You can run Robinson again. Or you can run Gibson. There's no issue of trying. Then when you put yourself in that passing play situation, then it's a sack, or there's a penalty. You have momentum running the football. You see how effective, especially I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson. You see how effective Brian Robinson is as a runner. He runs a similar style that people, when he gets to the 4th quarter, they ain't gonna want to tackle because he's so physical. So why not utilize that? For instance, I'm a Michigan fan, and you watch Michigan. How they play football is all right, we don't keep running, And by the time we get to that fourth quarter, we're going to break them because you're going to be done with us. Like, you're going to be exhausted. Like, that's a physical style of football. Joe Gibbs ran that same style of football. It works in the fourth quarter to the point where you can make the Giants defensive line tired and with it, because you don't just have one dude, and I mean that in Brian Robinson. You got a good one in Gibson. So there are two dudes there that you can lean on. And I feel like it could have been a much, Washington used that route the way they've done it in the past and won football games. It would have been more beneficial to try and for a better outcome. They ran that route.
I'm with the game in terms of running the football, but how do you sprinkle in play action effectively? That's why I feel like Scott Turner really struggles. There are times where you're running the ball down the team's throat, and then maybe on the 1st and 10, I don't mind seeing a play action because you're keeping that defense on their heels, you keep them honest. But I don't see that from him, and that's what's confusing. But I also know that J.D. McKissick, like when he re-signed he could have went to Buffalo. Yes. He re-signed because he knew he was going to be involved, especially on third down, and he hasn't been. Curtis Samuel's amazing. You know what I mean? If you use him correctly.
I don't think he was utilized enough this game either. He wasn't utilizing the run game enough towards the end.
Which one?
Curtis Samuel. Yeah, they used him at the end.
That's what I'm saying. He has the weapons at his disposal. Yeah. So I don't know why the struggles on third down continue, and I don't know why play action isn't more effective or getting him on the roll. George said that earlier. He made the comment that Heineke, when you put him out in space, that's when he's most effective. Mo alluded to that too, kind of that backyard football. So play to your guys' strengths. That's what we've been saying the whole time. This team still, again, you tied with all the things that we're saying. All it takes is for one or two plays to go the other way. And you got Terry one-on-one. And Terry's stats are amazing. Terry also, what is it now? He has over 50 receptions on the season. He's in like a unique group for his first. Yeah. His first four seasons in the league.
5 years.
His first 4 years in the league, over 900 yards.
Yeah. And 50 receptions. Terry is you gotta love Terry. He's that dude, man. And as productive as he is with Heineke, just imagine Heineke's arm is he's a little bit stronger and he's a little more accurate what Terry can do, because I'm just seeing Terry on one-on-one. And even last week he missed the open Terry on some plays that he would like to get back, but still you didn't lose the game. So and I don't know, man. I'm so torn because I'm with Glenn to some degree. Like, if you can get a W on the road in the division, you got to take it, bro.
You got to take it. I know. I'm with you.
You got to take that thing, man.
And it was there. I ain't going to lie. It was there.
It was there. Your defense gave you a chance. And then Curtis Samuel gives you a chance to get a field goal.
I know Mo was talking about that play to Slate, and he's right. If he catches it. But I'm looking at that. Curtis Samuel gets to the 45-yard line.
You got a first down.
That's it. That's it. That's just a chance. Just give yourself an opportunity to kick that field goal. Just give yourself an opportunity. That's how I look at it. Like, you call a decent play, a decent play call in that situation, or don't be as predictable. Then I feel like, I'm not mad at you running first down. I'm not mad at you. You should run first down. Like Brian Robinson has been consistent. No one's gonna knock you for running first down. But at that on second down, like, dog, like if you going to run, like if you want to throw the ball, throw it on second. I guess my thing. If you want to throw the ball, throw it on second. That's my
okay. So I listen to the radio broadcast too, right? London Fletcher was calling for a play action on that first down. He said, "Come on, we got the Giants on their heels. Why don't we try a play action?" And then he called the wide receiver screen too.
I know, because I knew they run all the time on third down. That's what I'm saying. That's guaranteed. Like, because they try to get field goal range, it's a guarantee that they're going to run a wide receiver screen on third down. That was my problem. If you're going to run that play, you run that play on second. Don't run it on third. At least on second, you got in the mindset of, okay, maybe they're going to still run the ball. Like, they may still run the ball here. Like, just change it up. Glenn, Mo, you wanted to say something? Mo, you want to say?
I said it lends its hand to what Glenn said. This is why we don't want ties in sports. Now, everything is if this, if that, if this, if that, on both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? On both sides of the coin. But you're talking about two evenly matched teams, man. I think this is as even a game for the two teams as they played all year, because they're looking at a mirror image of themselves, except for you guys have Terry on your side as the +1 in the wide receiver crew, and we have Saquon in the backfield. That's
yeah. I got you. Yeah.
I don't know. I get Washington the edge defensively, and I feel like that's why they should have won this game, because defense stepped up big when it mattered. And Deron Payne with that sack, I thought, again, you gave your offense a chance to win it. And hey, man, you got Scott Turner, who was again mentioned in head coaching discussions on multiple fronts.
Let him go.
So if you're that guy,
Let him go.
I'm just saying, but I'm just being real. If you're still being considered a head coaching candidate, then you should at the very least give your offense an opportunity to win when your defense steps up for you late in games on the road in the division. That's where you make your money. That's where you really earn your status as, okay, this dude right here, he's got a future as a head coach. And I just again, I don't like to keep picking on Scott Turner because they have been winning lately.
But, I do.
And they haven't run the football. But I'm just saying, when it matters most, or when you try to put him in situations where he's got to be more creative, you just don't always see it from him, and that's what I don't understand.
Two things, Ray. One is head coaching candidates in NFL don't mean anything if Jeff Saturday can get a head coaching job with the All right,
hey, get that man a torch. He on fire today, bro.
That don't mean anything to me. Second thing is, I'm gonna ask you guys this because this remind me because when they scored a touchdown to go to 1920. I was thinking back 2 years ago when Ron Rivera.
Go for two. I thought he was gonna do something stupid too. I thought about that.
I was thinking about Ron Rivera 2 years ago going for two. Riverboat Ron. Do you think Riverboat Ron learned a lesson, or did somebody check Riverboat off and say, you know what, just get the one and let's try to play to win the football game?
I'm sure someone told me, hey, bro, we've been catching L's going for these twos. We gotta stop doing it.
That was in the NFC least.
I was about to say he went for two when the team was in a bad position. There's something to play for today. He wasn't taking that
All right,
chance.
very good point.
No, sir, was he taking that chance today?
No, I don't be trusting him, though. I don't be trusting him, though.
Like Glenn said, on this show here, we support people moving on up to higher heights. Go ahead, Scott. We support you. We support you, Scott. Go.
Hey, let me tell you this, though, man.
If you think you Deion, go. You think you Deion, go.
You stupid. Yo, on another note, though, in spite of some misplays today, Jamin he's continuing to get better.
Man, he's playing good, man.
He's continuing to get better.
He made some big tackles, bro, like in the flat. No,
I'm just saying, even him reading defenses, he's continuing to grow in the area. He's got some room to develop because if he had the knowledge here,
it's coming though.
Definitely. That's what I'm saying. He's emerging. I believe that Saquon would not have been as effective today. For real.
Go back to what Wole said last year, and he said all last year, just let the guy play.
Right? Yes, let him grow.
Can you imagine if they would have let him play last year? How much further he would have been?
His confidence is through the roof right now, and it would have already been there.
The education on this defense would have been 10 times more. Like that's what I'm saying. Like when you're not playing last year, you weren't a good team. Why not give him those reps? You know what I'm saying? Like certain about giving him reps in this new position, this situation, he would have been fine. But
quick question, y'all. What was y'all thoughts on the officiating?
Oh, I thought it was trash. I thought the pass, how you gonna pick up a flag when it's right there and in your face and you seen what happened, and then the block in the back, it was on the side. I just felt like I had issues. I mean, the holding calls were legit. Like I'm not mad at holding calls. Holding calls were legit. I don't care if it's one side. If I see a flag and it's legit, I'm not gonna argue it. But when I see a flag where you threw it out and you picked it up, but it was really the right call, I have an issue with that because in that situation they kicked the field goal instead of going for getting the touchdown. They get it. They're in the. They call it PI. They're on the 5-yard line.
I will say that I think that because Fabian was already facing him, and Fabian was facing the referee. I think because his eyes were inside where he needed to be. I think they just allowed the hand fighting I
would agree with you. He hooked. That's the problem. I agree.
The outside hand was around the neck.
If he was his hand fight, I don't have issues with hand fighting. I really don't.
At worst, it's illegal.
It's a 5-yarder. Yes, I'm saying that was my issue. I lean more to be real with you. I lean more to the 5-yard than the PI. But I know it's like you just don't pick up. Like if you're gonna call it, you're gonna call it because he did deter for that dude from catching the football. You know what I'm saying? He did deter that dude from catching the football. But like I'm not a big fan of NFL officiating period though. So that's just a whole different thing. You know what I mean? So, but all in all, like. Washington, to me, even with the calls that I'm not a fan of, I thought that Washington, if play calling was different, you know what I'm saying, and focus was different, I think they would have had an opportunity to win this football game. Because you go on the road, you go up 10-0. You know what I'm saying? It's an opportunity. If you had like Ray would say, you had a quarterback of real elk. That you're up 10-0. There's an opportunity,
weapons, man. Too many weapons.
There's an opportunity. To kind of put your foot on the neck, and I will say this to Ray's point about weapons. That I'm hoping that maybe, I don't know, maybe Taylor Heineke has learned that it's not just Scary Terry, because obviously he's fixated on him. Like you got Jahan Dotson, he does utilize Curtis Samuel, but now you got
And
Jahan
Logan,
Dotson.
he uses Logan too, I think. Don't you?
Yeah,
think?
Logan. But I'm talking about the wide receivers. Like you got
receivers,
Jahan.
yeah.
Like it's the wide receivers is totally Terry. Like just keep
Diami
the buck.
too. Yeah,
You don't use Diami. Like it's totally Terry. Like and it's Curtis Samuel if Terry is thoroughly double covered. Like this time, like I hope now that he sees that, you know what? Like I got Curtis and I got Jahan. Jahan was getting money with Carson Wentz. Like he was getting money with Carson Wentts. But now
stretching
like
the field too.
Yeah, so I'm now you see it like to a point where all right, I know I love Terry. I want to give him the ball. I'm going to give him the ball. But there are other dudes that can make you work to a point where if I throw them the ball, now it takes the attention away from Terry, now go back to Terry.
But Carson does the same. But Carson does the same thing in his own right. When Carson's in the game, it's like Carson gets off of Terry too early at times.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
And then he likes Curtis Samuel out in the flat and all this.
No, I agree.
But like,
it's not an argument.
Your bread and butter is 17. You got
no. That's not my. I'm not going against the argument. That's not what I'm saying.
You're saying utilize all your weapons.
And then like Carson ain't force. Like for Carson ain't force feeding. He's off him quick, but he's not force feeding the other dudes. He's not like I'm throwing in triple double teams for these dudes. Like Taylor is
more your quarterbacks. More your quarterbacks. Get Carson's stature.
I'm saying you got matchups. I'm just saying I'm hoping because he was actually he played better doing it this way. That's all I'm saying. Like he as a quarterback, he played better. Say, all right, Terry now they starting to double Terry.
Right.
Shoot, they were having this third stringer on Curtis Samuel. I can hit Curtis. Jahan got this dude. Now I can go to the same dude now checking Jahan. I can go Jahan. Like if he spreads the ball a little bit more, then like all right, now that coverage is now. Oh, Terry's back on 1-on-1. Now he can hit Terry 1-on-1. Yeah, they got Terry 1-on-1 because now they worry about everybody else.
It'll open up so much. And shout out to George. George said at least Dotson got a chance. He hit the B move or the B button. I'm sorry. Hey, England beat Senegal, by the way, George. I think he was wrong. I love your YouTube channel, bro. Shout out to him. But it will open up the run game too. It will open up more for the run game if you use your weapons like that. So,
but he did though. He hit seven different receivers today. I mean,
no, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. He learning from it. That's what I'm saying today.
Well, they say you keep doing it. He said he learned that today. Definitely, I agree.
Like it will help you out. You could still go to Terry a bunch of times because, like Ray said, it opens up the running game. It opens up Terry. Now Terry, them dudes now who rolling coverage over Terry, they're like, I don't think we can do it now because this dude over here having problems with this dude. So now you just gonna have to go 1-on-1, bro. It's going you. Like, you gonna have to go 1-on-1 with 17. And then when Taylor sees that, it's automatic. You go on to 17. It's automatic.
Taylor's like Linus from the Peanuts, right? Which means Terry McLaurin is Terry McLaurin is a security blanket. And you saw that in the final two drives.
Yeah,
you saw that in the final two drives when he needed to make a play. He went to Terry. Only reason he went to Curtis because Curtis was wide open coming across
on the side for the fourth down play.
He need to make Terry because Terry has bailed him out. Terry has bailed him out so many times.
I got you.
He bailed him out.
What happened on that play, Glenn? What happened on that play was the play broke down. He got outside the pocket. He playing his style of football. That's why he found Curtis on that play.
Yeah.
If that was just a traditional drop back,
he's going to Terry.
Completion.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. But he had to make a play. That's why I give him credit on that play.
He does it. Like so.
I give him credit on that play.
We can't kill him with the same sword that we anoint him with.
Right. No, I ain't killing him.
I'm just saying he has in these games. You've seen him evolved a little bit, right? He evolved a little bit as a quarterback. I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback, not saying he's this, that. You see him evolve as a quarterback. You see him limiting mistakes. Today, there was no interception. Now, they could have, I mentioned about 30 minutes when we first came on. I mentioned about 30 minutes ago when he first came on. He should have had about 4 or 5, but nonetheless, somehow he gets lucky with that. I want to address Steve Fox's comment, the question that he asked, right? The question was, is it time for Carson to get back on the field?
He can stretch the field. That's the thing I hate about Taylor Heineke. It shouldn't be okay if you got the Commanders in 3rd and 8. You know they most likely not going to be able to convert.
Right.
You know they're not going to be able to convert. That's the formula. And with the weapons, Jahan Dotson, Diami Brown, and Terry McLaurin. I mean, come on now. Those I didn't even name Curtis Samuel. I didn't even name Curtis Samuel. Logan Thomas. There's no way that should be the case with this team. It should not be the case. Come on, man.
To answer Steve's question, no, because they haven't lost and they got a tie. I'm being real. Just it is what it is. I just until you have that disaster game, then we can have that conversation.
No, you keep Heineke all the way through the playoffs too. They're making the
No,
playoffs.
you get the disaster
This had
game.
playoff
I feel
implications, Mo.
I think they
It did.
I think it's reported on the low that basically Taylor Heineke is like week to week for real. Like it really is week to week. So it's up to him. Like he has that Taylor Heineke game. Then the decision, because to your point, Ray,
Yeah.
they see it. They see what you're talking about. They know that like 38, they're not able to utilize all their assets and their weapons. They know they can't stretch the field like they want to. You know what I'm saying? And they think in the back of their mind, I'm
Carson
sure
wasn't doing it either.
No,
Though.
listen.
Like,
I told you. No. Wait, Mo. Wait. So but when they were doing, what they were doing with Carson, with Taylor, like I said, you're leaning on Brian Robinson. You're leaning on Gibson. Carson wasn't getting that same type of offense. He wasn't. So now they're thinking, Rivera's thinking like, hey man, we got this running game. If we do this and play action, we can do the same thing. And maybe Carson has learned sitting behind Taylor. But again, I'm not saying I'm advocating for Carson to start, but I do know the thought process I think I have a good idea of the thought process of Coach Rivera is like, dude, if you have that one game where you just catastrophically cost us the game, you're going to lose your job. You know what I'm saying? Because to Ray's point, there's the limitations on what all the weapons you do have. And you know what I'm saying? And now with this style of play that you're playing with, you're running the football. You're winning the line of scrimmage on running the football. All we need is a couple plays, all play action. And if you ain't delivering that with this style of football, then we may have to go elsewhere.
Okay, and I agree with you on that. But then on the flip side, if Carson comes in, Carson's going to hold on to the ball. Carson's not going to extend those plays. Carson's going to take sacks, and you're not going to be in the same advantageous positions.
But you're still getting
it's both ways, guys.
But this is the thing, though.
Just because he could get the ball down the field,
no, I'm not saying that. Like, but you're not running the football. You're looking at,
you weren't running the ball, and Carson was in third. And Carson was in third and forever. Carson was in third and 14.
Yeah, you're looking at the premise of you're looking at the premise of Carson throwing the ball 40, 30 times. I'm looking at the premise of 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm looking at. Carson wasn't getting third, like Ray said. Carson wasn't, to your point, Mo. He was getting that 3rd and long because he was getting sacked early, but they weren't running the ball early. Now they're running the ball early. So it's a little different. That's all I'm saying. Like to compare Carson, no, real talk, to compare, and I'm not advocating for Carson to start. So I'm putting it out there. But to compare, I always have an issue with the premise of comparing Carson to what he was doing then to what Taylor's doing now. There's two different offenses, man. It's just two different offenses. You got one offense is run heavy, one was pass heavy. So you're going to be in 3rd and long if your offensive line sucks. And you're getting sacked, and you got a dude who does hold the football. In a situation here, when you got a dude that they run the ball a rack of times, he's in 3rd and manageable a lot. Carson wasn't in 3rd and manageable a lot.
No. And Carson also too didn't have the defense wasn't playing as good there as well neither. So
man,
Carson,
Taylor Heineke, he inspires everybody. He inspires the defense too. That's why.
You go back to the first few games, right? Carson was always playing behind the power curve. They was down, so you couldn't really establish a running game because you had to come back and get points. And so therefore, you have to throw the football. So now, again, go to your point. A running game makes it different for Carson Wentz. And then, but my really big point on that is you don't want to muddy the waters because in order for you to keep Deron Payne, Carson Wentz has to go bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly. So he can go. Right?
So you don't want to muddy the water and keep that money that you're supposed to pay Carson Wentz here. So for the future of the Commanders, Carson Wentz is best to be left on the sideline because guess what? We know Taylor Heineke was not the flavor of the month for the Washington Commanders. Look when the Commanders were promoting the jerseys, promoting their names. They didn't even use this dude's face for none of that stuff. He was not their guy, right? He wasn't their guy. And he just lucked up to be their guy because they gave him money. He's still on the roster. He knows the offense, and he's been winning. It is what it is. He's not the future of this offense. He's not the future of this team. He's still really auditioning for another team. There's no way in the world that this Commanders team, only way this Commander team brings him back as a starting quarterback next year is if he wins the Super Bowl.
Mo, you want to say something? I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead, Mo.
It's just y'all got it on Carson Wentz.
I'm not a Carson Wentz dude. I'm just saying there's two different offenses. I'm not even saying that I want him.
Listen, y'all know I'm not a Carson Wentz dude.
A lot of the things though that make it two different offenses are on Carson Wentz.
I'm not a Heineke either.
You're talking about the Jacksonville game. He didn't even give them an opportunity. The turnovers early didn't allow for them.
Who turns the ball over more though? Who turns the ball over more for real? Don't be real. Don't lie. Be real.
How many interceptions does Carson have?
Carson has, I know his touchdown to interception ratio he has more touchdowns than interceptions.
Right, but in the Jacksonville game, he threw two interceptions.
He almost cost the game in Jacksonville.
No. But on limited, and who throws the ball more though? Who throws the ball more?
He does.
So in less chances, Taylor Heineke probably throws more interceptions than Carson Wentz throws more. I mean, and he throws the ball a lot more.
But he gets sacked less.
I agree with the sack less, but also in the sack less, who's dropping back more though?
Carson Wentz.
You're gonna get sacked more.
And you're gonna
get sacked more. You're going to get sacked more, but Taylor Heineke won't get sacked as much.
Listen, man. Listen, I hope Taylor Heineke, like his pinky toe don't work during the bye week, and put Carson Wentz in next week. Y'all don't.
Bruh,
it's not a 2020 game.
I would love it. I would love it.
Oh.
But I'm not going to. It's not going to happen though. It's not going to happen though.
I need him to spray
because I know. I'll say this much. I know Carson Wentz against third stringers on DBs. If you get time on them plays and y'all playing man to man, 1-on-1, we're talking about just go routes.
Whew.
I'm telling you, that's a little different from playing zone back. If you playing 1-on-1 man up on Terry and Jahan 1-on-1, because that's what Jacksonville did, go 1-on-1 with one high, and that was a problem.
If we do what we did today to Carson Wentz, it would have been like 7-8 sacks today with Carson Wentz back there because he's not leaving.
But you run the football. He's not leaving. You're not going to even give him that much. They ran the football.
He's not leaving, man.
You're looking at Carson in the premise of look. I'm not making.
He's not throwing it to Terry.
Look, man, I'm not making the Carson Wentz versus Taylor Heineke thing. I'm not doing that because Carson's not playing. He's absolute right now. He's absolute right now.
Real quick, here's a stat we're looking for Carson Wentz in the 6 games he played this year: 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. One interception per game.
And Taylor Heineke is what?
And who did he play? He played Jacksonville.
He played
Dallas. He played the Bears.
Chicago, the Eagles.
The Eagles.
No, he didn't play the
Eagles.
Yes, he did. Yes, he played the Eagles.
Yes, he did. I'm sorry, I forgot. They played the Eagles.
And they were pass happy in that game. Who else did they play?
Taylor Heineke is 7-5, 7 TDs, 5 interceptions.
same. Look like the same thing to me.
7.
It ain't off.
Right. 7. Say it again, Ray. 7-5 and 10 to what? You said 10-6, right?
10-6 to 7-5.
So he has 4 touchdowns. He has 4 touchdowns. With his
limitations.
Bruh.
Hey, listen.
And he throws the ball less. That's what I'm saying. He has 5 picks. He throws the ball less.
Who has more drop picks?
So why are we doing this, bro? Like, dude, if I throw the ball a bunch of times, right? And I threw on my bunch of times, I'm throwing 6 picks and 10 touchdowns. And one dude throws the ball and he throws the ball like less than me and has 5 interceptions already. Like, what are we doing here? I'm just telling you, he turns the ball over more.
I will say this. Listen,
that's my argument.
Give Carson Wentz a chance with Brian Robinson running the football the way he is now. Give him a chance with this current running game and see how he does. Because I do agree, holds him to the ball. I'm not a Carson Wentz fan. I'm not even really the biggest Heineke guy. But of course, we love his energy. We love the way he just impacts the entire team. It's just right now, you got to go with the hot hand because they're going to win. But at the same time, my problem is, I've said it repeatedly throughout the time we've been on today, is when you have a number of skilled players on your offense, you should be able to convert 3rd and 8s on a routine basis. They've been back. Glenn said 3rd down. What was your word, Glenn? Would they've been on 3rd down? Right.
They suck.
They suck on 3rd down. They suck in the red zone. And that should not be the case when you got this many playmakers on your offensive side. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to sit here and get into a Heineke versus Carson Wentz debate.
I know. I don't want to do that.
It don't even matter. At the end of the day, when you got 4 guys all who can make plays, bruh, you got to find a way to get your playmaker. And when you have a head coaching candidate like Jeff Saturday, it's like, nah, Glenn. But when you got again an offensive mind that was supposed to be somebody who was to be able to design plays to impact defenses to where defense couldn't figure out what you were going to run. That's what I heard about Scott Turner. Then you're supposed to be more effective on 3rd down than what they are. Period.
And we also, like, on the poll in terms of the fan base, I wanted to know if they were happy with the tie. We have 55% says no, 45 has yes.
Got to take it. I think you got to take it, Glenn. I know you don't like it, man. It's not hockey. No points.
I like it, but this is why it's going to help the Washington Commanders team other than the Giants. The Washington Commanders team at least has 1 win in the division. The Giants don't have any wins in the division.
They don't?
No, they do not. The New York Football Giants do not have any wins in the division.
All the Giants division games come in the next 5 weeks.
Right. And so they'll take an L last, and then they'll take an L next week. All right. So they So again,
listen, we gotta let them play the games first. Glenn, stop,
man. We got Who they playing next week?
They're playing Philly next week. Philly.
That's a hot L. That's a hot L next week.
I'm just repeating what Mo said. I'm not predicting.
It's a hot
L. Mo said that.
We'll reconvene from this tie since the game was tied up anyway, 0-0.
Yeah.
We'll just start from where they ended off at. You know what I mean?
No lies there. That's actually facts. Go ahead. That's actually a factual statement. So anyway, let's go to some of the Ray. I'll start with you because you're always a positive individual. What are some of the positives, my man?
Positives are Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. This is what you envisioned when you drafted the Bama Wall. You knew they were going to be a force. And even when Montez went out the game, the defense continued to make plays. That front four is a problem. Jamin Davis, I mentioned him already. I love his growth. Derek Forrest, he's continuing to play his way into the lineup to where he's got a future with this organization. And Jack Del Rio, man, he got pummeled early on for just his defense, especially in the Detroit game, struggling to keep offenses off the field. This defense gave this team an opportunity to win a football game in the division on the road today. I just love everything that the defense is doing. And then even with Joey Sly, even though he missed that 52-yarder, there hasn't been this growing, issue with special teams. So overall, fans, right now it's hard to find a negative issue about this organization in general, because on the field, this team is actually producing to a degree where you think that this team has a chance to win. And we didn't always think that. Competitive football, that's what we always wanted.
Glenn, what were your positives?
Positive that this team never quits. I think that's one of the things that when you have Taylor Heineke, this team never quits. They're not laying down. They're being able to get consistent. You can actually watch a whole Commanders football game now, right? And knowing that they have an opportunity. Really, knowing that they have an opportunity. If he gets the ball with the ball in his hands with 2 or 3 minutes left, that it may be an opportunity that this team will go down the field and score. And I think most fans have that belief now that this guy can do this, whether he is the top-rated quarterback, the sixth, can't make a throw, whatnot. They believe in the quarterback and their team play for him offensively and defensively. That's a positive for me. Also positive for me is Ron Rivera. I think Ron Rivera in doing this winning streak has coached this team well. And during this time, we don't hear. Think about it, this team has been winning, and we haven't heard all the negative talk in the media, right? This team is winning, and you don't hear the negative talk in the media. So I think that's and here where I live at, right? You guys.
Now the Sean Taylor thing was the mannequin was a big deal last week. But anyway, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, we talked about that though.
I know.
But it's not about selling the team. It's not about a scandal. Somebody sleeping here. There's no scandals behind this team. You can actually, be proud to be as some people are, the Commanders fan, because you think about prior to the win streak, it was talking about selling teams. So I think Ron Rivera had been able to keep everything in house and calm the noise, and they focus on what they can focus on, which is football, for the last few weeks. And I think he's handled this quarterback controversy better than most for the last few weeks. And a lot of that has to do with Carson Wentz and who he is, because he's not going to go to the media. He's going to be a team player and do what he needs to do. But I think that's a positive as well, because some teams will blow up, right?
Sure.
Ron has been able to keep that together. And this team, they're going into their bye. Going into the bye, and you're still talking about the Washington Commanders potentially making the playoffs. You asked most people at the beginning of the season that, and that may not have been the case when they saw bye was week 14. So,
Good point. Hey, Glenn, Mo, what are some of your positives?
Oh, the positives are definitely the Alabama Wall, man. The D line in totality. Hill had a play that most people are gonna look over. He held contained. And forced the play in that I think Montez botched early in the game to show that they made an adjustment there. He slipped under it instead of going around it. So you add the sacks from the Alabama Wall, and you add just the constant pressure all day. I think that is a bright spot. That's something that isn't going away. Chase is on the horizon. It should be nothing. It should do nothing but fortify what they're already doing. Even if he just comes in on pass rush downs and whatnot, to help this defense. So, great big shout out to the D line. They played a hell of a game. They did what they were supposed to do. They imposed their will on the offensive line that they were heads and shoulders better than. And you've seen it throughout the course of the game. And I think that's what kind of made the Giants go away from the run late in the game. Yeah. So just continue, go get healed up this bye week, and then the two teams are at it again. But the defensive line definitely came to play today.
For me, I mean, usually folks is odd. I'm gonna give Taylor Heineke his flowers. I thought, to me, he made plays down the stretch where they needed him, and that's very important. The fan base can talk about his arm strength and this, that, and the other, but when they needed a score, he was able to deliver it. That scoring drive to tie the game. So, because in that situation, it didn't look like, if you looked at what was going on in that second half, it didn't look like they would be able to move the football. And that big play on fourth. And I know if you're a Commander fan, when you saw him rolling out and know that the initial person probably thinking to yourself that, oh man, this play is not looking good. And now you had a situation where, he made the play. So to me, I'm gonna give Taylor Heineke his flowers. I think, he deserves a lot of credit for helping this team win tie his football game. And so he deserves a lot. Obviously, you guys mentioned, I'm not gonna jump on what you guys said, because it's the same. I have the same idea about the Alabama wall and whatnot. But for Taylor Heineke, I thought, he was very important to this team's tie. In terms of negative, I'll start negative play. I thought DBs were dropping picks, in terms of when they broke on the ball. I thought they had opportunities to make some big plays. They made good plays, but I would just say this: the dude Holmes, yeah, you're my negative. Holmes is my negative because he was getting housed by Slayton easily. And then eventually they benched Holmes and put in Danny Johnson, and Danny Johnson played well. So Holmes is definitely him coming in the game and playing, and him being mauled. Well, now he got beat back. He got bullied on the play to Slayton on the deep pass, and then on the out play. I think it was the touchdown. Was it touchdown? No, the touchdown pass to Hodgins. Was Hodgins?
The deep ball to Slayton was Wild Goose.
No, it was Holmes. Wild Goose ain't playing. That's Holmes. Wild Goose ain't playing. Wild Goose ain't playing no more. It's Holmes. 34. It's Holmes. Yeah, it's Holmes. Believe me, I know. It's Holmes. Holmes got had a bad day. It's Holmes. Go back. Holmes got beat by Hodgins too in a touchdown pass. You talking about the 50, the one that he maneuvered and got that pass on the deep play. Yeah, that was Holmes. He struggled. He struggled in that game. But they did bench him and put in Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson was effective and played well. But I would say my negative would be Holmes. Definitely would be Holmes. I'll start. I will go. Hey, Glenn. Glenn. I'll go with you. What's your negative?
Negative to me, as well as not being able to contain mobile running backs, mobile quarterbacks. Sorry.
Oh God.
But that to me is a negative, because again, if this team does become a playoff team, they're going to face mobile quarterbacks throughout the playoffs, and they're going to have to be able to contain the mobile quarterback. To me, that's a negative for me. If you look at the defense being able to contain mobile quarterbacks, we talk about Jalen Hurts. I mean, look, Daniel Jones is not Jalen Hurts, right? But look at this team. He's not a Geno Smith, right? Who may be a potential. Even Dak can roll out and run a little bit. So that is the problem for me. If you had to take away a negative, that this defense has still now, even though 8th ranked in the NFL, has a problem with mobile quarterbacks.
Hey Ray, what's your negative, man?
Third down offense. I feel again like you need to be able to convert, especially in these big division games. This win would have been significant, as Glenn mentioned. The Giants don't have a division win right now, and you would have had at least a tiebreaker. You would own a tiebreaker with them, as your two even teams, and your records are very similar. So I feel like when you got a chance to steal one on the road, you got to get it. And third down efficiency is a determining factor. Didn't get it done on third down today.
Hey, Mo, what's your negative?
I gotta piggyback off Ray. I think he said everything that needed to be said. You got to find a way to extend the play, and you got to find a way. I mean, well, the Giants didn't do much on their end either, but they made some critical ones with Daniel Jones getting all them first downs over the course of using his legs. So they got to find a way to get them off the field, and they got to find a way to keep themselves on the field so that the ball control offense could have more of an effect.
Well, looks like we ain't gonna have a show next week. It's gonna be a bye week for the Washington Commanders. Then, Mo said, we're gonna run it back. It's gonna be in FedEx. Giants versus the Commanders, running it back. It's like a 2-game series or whatever. It's amazing. I don't know how the NFL
like a back-to-back in basketball, right?
I know, man. It's crazy. I don't know how the NFL did this, but it is what it is. Time to close this show out. But hey, before we close this show out, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_ABG _Errrything, and like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Hey, do not forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel. It's down there, the red button. Hit subscribe and also like this video. Anyway, this has been a dope show. Appreciate Glenn, Ray, and Mo. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, peace, everybody.